everyone, welcome to be Seen. I'm Brandon Lou, and this is Comic Conversation. Fantasy battles and crossovers are one of my favorite things about being a comic book fan. We can all talk about what would happen if RoboCop fought the Terminator, or if the Ghostbusters met the Transformers. But while we'll probably never see these interactions in movies or television, comic books have always found a way to bring separate universes together. The DC Universe did just that in 2017's Heman Thundercats. I stumbled across it on the DC Universe app and I had to read it. This was a treat for me as an 80s baby who collected the action figures of both TV series. I've watched the cartoons. I've watched the remakes of the cartoons. I wore He-Man pajamas as a kid. And the covers just draw you in. Freddie E. Williams II, I have no clue who the first is or what he does, but Freddie E. Williams II handles the covers and the interiors for all 6 issues, and in my mind is the star of the whole series, because every issue there's images that just stay trapped in my mind. I still think about them, and they're fantastic and makes this comic worth reading. So what is the story about? Let's get into it. If you haven't read this before, careful, spoilers ahead. Mumra has been defeated again, just as he is every half-hour episode of the Thundercats with commercial breaks. The ancient spirits of evil who grant Mumra his ever-living power have grown tired of his continuous losing streak. They decide to concoct his next plan and tell him of a sword of power that will give Mumra enough power to destroy those wretched Thundercats once and for all. That sword? He-Man's sword of power on Eternia. Using large quantities of magic, the ancient spirits transport Third Earth into the same space as Eternia. Preparing for battle, Prince Adam readies his sword, but is approached by the sorceress, who informs Adam the sword is the target. The sword must be locked away. Adam trusts the sorceress, but she's actually Mumra in disguise. Ha 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 ha! Mumra stabs Prince Adam right in the chest, and it is in that moment right there that it had me hooked. Because this isn't safe, wholesome after-school cartoons. This is now adult content. With the sword still in the chest of Prince Adam, he is able to shout the words, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!" and transforms into He-Man. Somehow He-Man also manages to get free of the sword that was previously in his chest, but that's neither here nor there. The point is he is free. But Mumra escapes with the sword. Accomplishing his mission, Mumra is pulled back into his Black Pyramid on Third Earth, but the ancient spirits of evil don't plan to include Mumra in their plans. They have a new champion in mind, Skeletor. And our favorite skull-faced villain absorbs Mumra into himself to end issue 1. But Mumra is ever living, and so he continues to be a presence inside of Skeletor's consciousness, which is rather annoying for the skull-faced villain. Tying together the lore of both series, Skeletor explains that he became aware of the evil spirits thanks to some golden discs of knowledge. In fact, Snake Mountain pays homage to, I guess, a sister deity of the ancient spirits themselves, so have an existence on both universes. Using the power of the golden discs and now the sword, Skeletor hopes to finally take Castle Grayskull for himself, and discovering the secrets that lay inside of it. Continuing his plan, Evil Lyn, Trapjaw, Triclops joined forces with Slythe, Jackalman, and Monkeyan, and attacks the swordless He-Man. And He-Man does pretty well for himself until Skeletor finishes his fusion with Mumra and summons the power of Grayskull for himself, reverting He-Man back to his fatally wounded Prince Adam form. With no enemies in his way, Skeletor is ready to seize Castle Grayskull, that is until the Thundercats arrive. Third Earth's heroes throw everything they have at Skeletor, including the kitchen sink. Alright, I'm kidding, but Panthro does run him over with the Thunder Tank, which was really cool for me to see. The battle is fierce, and Lion-O does not leave unscathed. Skeletor slashes the king of the Thundercats across the eye with his blade, but Lion-O gets the best of Skeletor, cutting his hand off, retrieving He-Man's Sword of Power, and casting Skeletor back by showing him his reflection off of the Sword of Omens. With the heroes and villains both suffering losses, Mumra and Skeletor battle over whose physical form will be most dominant. Meanwhile, the citizens of Eternia mourn the death of Prince Adam. The memorial is cut short when Skeletor and Mumra release the ancient spirits of evil from their pyramid and wage war on Eternia. Our heroes are currently feeling the pressure and need to make a big move if they hope to stave off evil. Lion-O makes his biggest gamble yet and takes Prince Adam's body back to the Black Pyramid on Eternia and places him inside of Mumra's sarcophagus. Lion-O knows that Third Earth's mutants still lurk inside the pyramid. But Lion-O did not come alone, he came with Cringer. But without the Sword of Power's ability to transform him into Battle Cat, Cringer would need something else to give the green feline courage. Lion-O takes it upon himself to try out the Sword of Omens, giving Cringer a new form, the form of a Thunder Battle Cat. While Battle Cat deals with the mutants, Lion-O checks on Prince Adam to see if the resurrection was successful, and boy was it! Prince Adam returns as He-Man, the ever-living, possessed with power in a way DC fans would compare to someone raising from the Lazarus pit. He-Man is coming for Lion-O's head. Forced to use his Sword of Omens in ways he's never used it before, Lion-O asks for power beyond power to restrain He-Man, and then uses his sight beyond sight to bring He-Man to his right mind. Meanwhile, on Eternia, we're seeing all of the crossover team-ups we were looking forward to. Man-at-Arms, Tigra, and Panthro putting together weaponry and battle strategy. Teela leading the Royal Guard alongside Chitara. Orko just messing up completely, well, beside Wily Kid and Wily Cat. But most importantly, Jaga and the Sorceress unite to give enough power to all of the heroes of Eternia with a golden disc of their own to drive back the ancient evil spirits. But all is not won yet. Skeletor and Mumra take their relationship even further and fuse into one all-powerful being, Mumator. That's a terrible name, but that's what it is. And you know what? It kind of keeps on brand because Masters of the Universe and Thundercats were always just a little corny. By the time Lion-O and He-Man make it back to Eternia, the damage is done, and Mumator has stormed Castle Grayskull's great halls. The castle serves as a fortress protecting the nexus of all realities, and the power that created the multiverse, the Orb of Power. What happens next is a final confrontation across realities that only comes to an end when Lion-O and He-Man combine the power of both of their swords to cast Mumator away once and for all. Alright, probably not, but at least for now, peace reigns once again. I really enjoyed this book. Put together by Rob David and Lloyd Goldfine, it gave me great moments that pushed the limits of what we'd seen from the 80s cartoon, but it all seemed true to the universes I grew up with. My only complaint is that it's 6 issues. It feels so short, and because it's so short, the story feels a bit rushed. There are character moments that really could have gone on longer, and mythology that could still be explored. But on the flip side, we get constant pages filled with action. I was never bored. There's always some great battle happening, and now I'm looking out for more. Maybe I'll find them in episodes of Thundercats that are now available on Hulu. I'm still waiting for Kevin Smith's remake of Masters of the Universe to show up on Netflix. Maybe I'll just rewatch She-Ra on Netflix. I don't know. But I'm always looking for more comics to read. What did you think of this crossover, and what crossovers would you recommend? Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you liked what you saw, well, hit the like button and share and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell if you want notifications to all of To Be Seen's programs, and if you want to reach me directly, you can find me on Twitter at Comic Convo, COMICONVO, and Instagram at Lewis or Brandon. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next issue.